To safeguard the health and athletes and others involved, many sporting activities have been cancelled or put on hold. The sporting industry has felt the weight of COVID-19 since it broke from China and spread to other parts of the country, infecting millions and killing over 400,000. Since clubs in Ghana rely heavily on gate process, let's find out from the CEO of Accra Heart of Folk, Mr. Frederick Moore, how the sporting sector has been faring since the outbreak of COVID-19. My name is Enyonam. Follow this program on all social media platforms. Share your thought with us. I know there are a lot of football fans out there who would love to pass some thought or comment about today's interview. Many thanks to my sponsors, NPRA, Data Bank, Leap Tomato Paste, and J&J Insurance Brokers. This is Biztrends. I'm going for a quick break, and when I come back, Frederick Moore joins me on set. I'll be right back after this.
Tomato paste when I would eat, I don't want to leave tomato paste in Ghana. Ah!
Aha! This is what I call Ediane.
Secret na LEAP, leap. Someone named a leap tomato paste Ediane there. It was superb and palatable taste. Na esu biaso. There were large and small sizes for chop bars, restaurants, and enfie.
For bulk purchase, contact 033-2095-314 or 050-141085.
Welcome back from that quick break. It's still Biztrends show. Hello, Mr. Fred.
Hello.
This is the Corona greeting. Nice to meet you in person.
Same here.
How have you been faring?
Oh, well, I've been keeping well, and I'm glad to say that all our players, our staff, have also been keeping well.
Right.
Because that is even more important than me just keeping well, because it's a teamwork.
Awesome. How disappointed are you this year as the CEO of Heart of Folk as far as football activities are concerned?
Very disappointed, especially noting the work, the amount of work and effort and the love of football was all coming back. And a lot of gratitude to the current GFA Executive School and all the people that work there. It was quite disappointing to get to this stage where another year, another stoppage. Because if you know, the last 3 years, we've had difficulties with the ANAS and then the Expose, the NC competition, and then this year. So we've had the 3 years in a row, and it's not been easy and quite disappointing.
So you were not expecting them to talk, to complain? They should just swallow everything?
Of course, there are other countries are going to complain. We complained. Right. Ghana football, we complained in 2017-18 when the ANAS Expose came out and the football had to stop. Yeah. Not about the ANAS Expose itself, but the fact that football had to stop. So I can expect them to complain, but we've had it 3 years in a row. They've only had 1 year. So it is that gives me a little bit of a chuckle. But having said that, I think the football, the Ghana Football Association, the Ghana football owners and bankrollers, and people involved in football have coped very, very well. Much better than I would have imagined.
Okay. As the CEO of a sporting club, I know that you people directly or work hand in hand with the GFA. What has been the evaluation and assessment during these trying times? And are you satisfied with some of the assessments they have made so far?
Yes, because we communicate with the GFA.
Okay.
We've had Zoom meetings, we've had emails and letters to determine where they are and what point they are. Look, nobody is perfect, and anybody, it's easy, talk is cheap, and it's easy to criticize other people about the work that they're doing. What I'm proud of is the amount of love that they've brought back to football before the truncation, before the stoppage of the league. It is going to take a bit of time, it's going to take a bit more effort, but at the moment, if you're asking me, am I happy with the work that the GFA are doing, I'll say yes.
Okay. You are sure?
100%.
Okay. Football is considered as a business. You invest into it, you buy players, you train them, you sell some abroad, and that's how the business is run. Over the period, football sector or industry has generated some amount of income to, towards the Ghanaian's GDP. Do you appreciate the level of support that government has given to the football industry?
Of course, we appreciate every support, every penny that we get from anywhere that we get it from. But if your question is inferring that the money that we've got from the government in the past should therefore be enough so we don't ask for more, I would disagree for two reasons. Most of the money that comes into Ghana football from the government tends to go to the blasters level. Okay. The blasters can only be that effective if the local football, if the talent, the pipeline is continually renourished. Okay. It's like asking a baker whether bread is more important than the flour. If we don't have the pipeline, and the pipeline really starts from the coach team to the second division, first division, the premiership. And that's where people hone in their style and their talent to be able to move either further out or to play directly for the national team. And if you deprive that source of good revenue, then generating good players like we've had in the past is going to be a little bit more difficult.
Some few weeks back, the president announced some stimulus package to be given to certain sectors. I read on Ghana Web, if I should be correct, one football administrator making a case that why wasn't football mentioned. Now, I also know that FIFA has given out some amount of money to cushion football clubs in this time. Hasn't GFA received one? Why are you not directing your anger in that line and you're complaining about stimulus package for SMEs like us?
That's an interesting question, and bringing yourself into it as an SME. Look, most football clubs are also SMEs. Okay.
You consider yourself SME?
Oh yes, we are.
Really?
The issues that people raise about the government stimulus package that football did not get is fully understandable, because we felt that the contribution that we make towards the economy, poverty alleviation, employment, and also mental health was important enough for us to have been considered. However, I also hear that the government, another department of government, is looking at the possibility of giving us money. So I'll hold my horses for the moment. If I come back to the issue that you raised about the money that we've got from FIFA, okay, the FA has not hidden that money from anybody. In our last meeting that we had, the Zoom meeting that we had with all the administrators, they were upfront and told us that they are about to, they had not received the money at the time. But FIFA gives that money. That money is not new money. That money is traditionally the money that they give to the football associations to manage the affairs of football locally. You could argue with pandemic and other things that they should also consider giving some of the money to the club. But that you need to look at it and fully understand and appreciate where they are coming from. it will be far-fetched for me to sit at my comfort zone and tell the GFA what they should do with money that they normally get, if that money is being planned for. Trust me, if they come and say that they're going to give us this money, I'll be the first to jump and take it. But I wouldn't criticize or comment on something I don't fully understand or fully know about. Look, the ESCO is made up of club executives like myself, club owners like my chairman, and other people who have got vested interest in the clubs. So my belief and my passion is that every decision that they make will not be in the interest of the GFA, but will be the interest of the clubs. Okay. Because after all, the GFA will only succeed if there's good football played in Ghana.
Okay. GFA will succeed if there's good football playing ground. It's still Biztrends show. My name is Egona. I'm having a conversation with the CEO of Accra Heart of Folk, Frederick Moore. We're going for a quick break. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
When you've worked hard for your money, you want to make sure you're investing it with the right company. And when you need your money, it will be there for you. As Ghana's leading investment bank, Data Bank has been helping Ghanaians achieve financial independence since 1990. At Data Bank, you can purchase mutual funds, treasury bills, or shares. We're one of Ghana's leading pension and provident fund managers.
Backed by our world-class research team, Data Bank has a proven track record of strong performance and good corporate governance. Knowing where to invest is key. Invest wisely, invest with Data Bank.
Welcome back from that quick break. You can still join us with your thought and comment on all our social media platforms. So, is there a possibility football activities will resume soon, and how far are plans to implement all safety protocol measures so that we stop the spread of coronavirus among the players or administrators and all that?
You know, it's a good point and a good question to ask at this time. What the most important thing, in my view, and the FIFA president himself said it, is the health of people supersede everything else.
Yeah.
So whatever we do, that should be one of the key objectives that we are looking at. Having said that, we are in football and we want to play football, and we know the benefits of what football gives, not just to the players that play, but to the country as a whole. So if you're asking me a direct question, do I want football to come back soon? The answer will be absolutely yes. But it needs to come back in a way that it provides health, it looks at the health, and provides a space to minimize the spread, actually to probably eliminate the spread. We are into football. And if the GFA comes today and says that they want us to play, then Accra House of Folk will be willing and ready to put all the measures that is required and needed in place to play.
So you've got the means to put all your players through testing, including administration, everything, in case GFA says everybody should get ready and resume on the pitch. Are you ready for that? On your own?
If you ask, no.
You've got the means to do that?
Look, the GFA has not come with that question.
And I'm saying assuming.
Assuming they do, assuming they do, then we would need to make sure that we've got those measures in place. Okay.
Since clubs really rely on gate process, how are players faring, monetary-wise, well-being?
If your question is asking me whether we are paying our players?
I'm saying that clubs in Ghana, they rely on gate process. In that sense, how are your players faring, monetary-wise?
Okay. If I expand the question, our gate process gives us about 1/3 of our revenue.
Okay.
So without gate process, we've already lost 1/3 of our revenue. Sponsorship is not flowing as much as it used to be. That's about another third of our revenue. Okay. There are very, very few clubs in Ghana. The GFA also gives us some money and to participate in competitions. There are very, very few clubs that play the local league and break even. Right. That's what, when I was talking earlier, I mentioned the bank rollers. And you recently heard that the Kotoko executive chairman has said that he's giving some money that he has spent back to the club. Look, these things happen. Football, you said earlier on, was a business. Yes, it is 100% a business. But it also used to be a vocation and people play for fun as well. But football in Ghana is tough in terms of the revenue, because the revenues that we get from the GFA, the revenues that we get from the gates, the revenue that we get from the sponsorship are all not enough, right? So the toughness that you talk about is already there. Yes, it's become more tough, but that's where we need to be a bit more ingenious in the way we do our things. So if we were spending 5 cedis on something, now we need to be clever. We need to cut our coat according to our size.
Okay.
Right? And I'm sure up and down the country, all the clubs are managing within the limited resources that they've got. And a few days ago, I said to somebody that I take my hat off every club owner who bankrolls a club, because it is one of the most difficult things. And I pleaded some time ago with our supporters to give our board chairman the highest respect because of the amount of money, his personal wealth that he spends on the club.
Okay. You have had an experience doing business abroad and that of Ghana. You know how the football business works abroad, that compared to Ghana. Over there in abroad, tickets are sold in advance before people go to the stadium to even watch football. As long as Accra House is even 109, that means football has started way back. Why haven't you people, club owners or football administrators, GFA, stakeholders of football, why haven't you adopted that way of, you know, selling tickets for people to go and watch football yet? Is it because someone is benefiting for this pay-as-you-go gates entrance thing?
Your last comment, I'm not going to comment on it, because I'm also a professional accountant and I only comment on evidence. So I don't have any evidence, so I'm not going to comment.
That's fine.
But let's talk about the issue that you brought. I'm not going to argue with you that we've got a long way to go, even though we've got 109 years. We are 108 coming to 9 years. We've got a long way to go, but every journey starts with a step. And I can see from the new GFA the steps that they are making to take us hopefully to the promised land. Having said that, there are times that we need to run faster. But if you are not careful, you also trip and fall. So there's a lot of things that is happening, and there's a lot of things that we can do and do differently. If I take specifically the advanced ticketing and electronic ticketing that you mentioned, most clubs, even third division, fourth division clubs in Europe, will have their own stadium and will have their own facilities. Okay.
Okay.
In Ghana, very few clubs have got their own stadiums and have that sort of facility. Most clubs do not train on the pitch that they play matches on. Most clubs in Ghana train on the pitch that they have the matches on, those who own the stadium. So if you come to a ticketing and advanced ticketing, we don't own, Accra House of Folk does not own the Accra Sports Stadium. Okay. That's owned by the government and it's managed by the NSA. So we cannot determine how tickets are sold.
You could sit down and negotiate this. I'm not saying you should determine, yes, you don't own the club, but you can still sit down and talk about this. I mean, do you think if you had sold tickets in advance, you would have lost 1/3% of your revenue?
No, it's not losing. Okay, if we had sold the ticket,
yes, your money would have been intact, and anytime football resumes, you have them come and watch the football.
Okay, you've got a very good point,
right.
And I'm not going to argue with you on that if we had done this. But you know, if is a big word to use in situations in business.
Okay.
Because We have to negotiate with the NSA to agree to those.
Okay.
It is not just about the NSA, it's also about the GFA. I am aware that there are plans in place to do that. We also have to manage the risk of that, because you sell advance tickets. The possibility of duplication and fraud becomes also very high. When you are talking about the advanced countries, the level of the ticket, the price of the ticket, and creating a fraud element of it is negligible. It is meaningless to do. And if you do, nobody will buy it. And very few people will buy it. Okay. The level of income in Ghana makes it easy for these things to happen when somebody can get the ticket half price instead of the full price. So there's a number of activities that needs to happen. But look, we agree with you, advanced ticket. We agree with you, electronic ticket. We agree with you on almost everything that you've said or the question that you've asked. What we need to do is to implement. Creating the vision, creating the discussion, saying it is a lot easier than implementing it. And some of these are already in discussion. All right.
Okay.
But I just wanted to highlight to you that we don't own the stadium, so we have not got the full control. If we did own the stadium, as soon as we had the vision, we could have implemented it.
It's about time you own a stadium, by the way. I'll be right back. Viewers, you still watch Biztrends. My name is Enyonam. Today I have a conversation with the CEO of Accra Hearts of Oak, Mr. Frederick Moore. We're discussing football in these trying times in Ghana. It's a business, of course. So what do we do to make it better as we look forward to resuming football? What do we do? How do we sustain the business? How do we, bring back the love and support that people give to football? Up next is the investment tidbit brought to you by Data Bank. Take a look at that. I'll be right back.
At Data Bank, we've actually been preaching that it is always important to have an emergency fund. A fund that if anything happens to you and you are unable to earn income can last you for 3 months. Well, today, I think COVID-19 is proving us right. It is extremely important to always have an emergency fund that you can live on for a minimum of 90 days in the event of being incapacitated or temporarily unable to earn any revenue. So, I think the greatest lesson that we should take out of this is the importance of having an emergency fund aside other funds that you need for other purposes. Thank you.
So welcome back from that investment tidbit brought to you by Data Bank. And remember, if you're working for yourself, working for someone, it's always advisable that go to Data Bank for all your investment advice so that in the near future, you would live a comfortable life. NPR is reminding you that you will definitely go to pension someday. So remember that as an employee or an employer, it is mandatory for you to pay that contributions. Leave tomato paste. If you're cooking, the best tomato paste to go for is Leave. J&G Insurance Brokers. If you're going for an insurance policy, don't just walk into an insurance company and say, I want to take this policy. Go for an advice. And of course, if you need consultancy help, call on J&G Insurance Brokers. Back to you. When I posted your photo, you were going to be on Biztrends. One question that I received and I was so excited about it is that, does this talk about pay cuts for players? Somebody asked, how much are they even being paid to mention that? Are you comparing yourself to the Western clubs that are doing pay cuts?
Is your question, are we comparing ourselves to the Western world? No, we're not.
It's been mentioned over there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
What we try to do at Accra House of Oak is to make sure that we have got a vision, an objective we want to meet. And our chairman was on another TV station. Can I mention the name?
Of course you can.
GTV Sports, right. Who are our partners in Has TV. And he mentioned that we've got big dreams, big objectives that we want to meet. Okay. So we look for the best in everything that we can get.
Okay.
And we don't compare ourselves to anything because we believe we are unique. We are the premier club of Ghana, and we want to be eminent in Africa. And everything that we do is aimed towards that. So we don't just do things because somebody else is doing it.
Okay.
So no, that's not how we look at things in Accra House of Folk. And we've got big dreams that we want to achieve, and we want to achieve it with the boys.
Are you people considering a pay cut for your players?
Again,
I'm asking.
No, I know.
Right.
I know you're not the first person to ask me that question, and you're not the first person I might not even answer the question to, because.
So you're avoiding it. So the minute the answer you're giving is not the right answer.
It's not avoiding.
Okay.
What I wanted to say is that the discussions we have with our players and our staff that borders on contractual discussions. I don't discuss them outside that environment. Okay. And I know some clubs have come out and made a statement, but we have made our position is that things that borders on confidentiality of players or staff, we don't talk about it.
In your 108 heading to 109, what are some of the achievements can you boast of?
Oh gosh.
Don't mention this old
No.
caps here.
You said,
it's been long overdue Heart of Folk has won any cap.
But you said 108 to 10 since 108. If you had asked me last year, did you win anything? That would be a different question.
Okay, so just mention a few.
No. You mentioned our age and you linked it to our success.
Yes.
We've won more trophies than anybody in Ghana. We are the premier club after all.
It's been long overdue.
The record, the talent is permanent. Records are permanent. You cannot wash it away. Okay. So it is there. We've won every cup in Africa. We've won every cup in Ghana. Look, we are the people that people aspire to be. So that one, they don't go there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Another key question. Over the period, we know there was love for Heart of Folk.
Yeah.
But then it's alleged that love and support is gradually draining. What do you say to that? Oh, look,
it's interesting. I don't know who alleges it or the person has been following football. Look, any business that goes through the period that we've gone through in the last 3 years will have some difficulty. Okay. And we are no exception. But if you're talking about love football, the love of football, in my view, was coming back. With the support of the current GFA executives. Okay. And I think you should have been there when we played Kotoko, or you should have been there when we played Ash Gold, or you should have been there when we beat Olympics 4-0. All of that tells me
the love is still there.
Not that it is still there, because there is now, and it will be past. The love is coming. And if you have got a dream for the future, you've got a life. What
are clubs in Ghana doing wrong with regards to sponsorship wise? When I watch international football, I see a lot of big companies who are sponsors of these clubs and all that. What are you guys not doing right? Hasn't this talk of sponsorship, we don't have sponsorship, what are you doing right?
If I could turn it the other way around and I say that the number of big companies that operate in Ghana is not the same as the number of big companies that operate in, say, for example, the EPL. Okay. If you take, for example, one of the basic, for me, the indicators is that the GDP per capita of the UK is in big double figures. Okay. Okay. The GDP per capita in Ghana is about $1,600 or $1,500. Okay, so if you are asking a big company to come to Ghana, what value are they going to get to support sports and other things? What we have to do on our part, I'm sure the government has got a part to do. I'm sure the education system has got a part to play, and I'm sure the big problem is on the clubs because we are the ones looking for sponsors. We need to find different ways of getting sponsorship. Right?
Okay.
It shouldn't be just us going to sponsors and say, give us your money. Right? And we've started already. We are now going into, rather than going for direct sponsorship, we are going to strategic partnership.
Okay.
There are other things that we also need to do, and there are other things that the government can also do. For example, let me give you just one example from the top of my head. If, for example, the government had got a tax break for companies that sponsor, it will give an attraction to companies to sponsor clubs. That will not be taking too much money from the government, and it will create the wealth in football that would allow us to pay the salaries that you alluded to before, and make the football and the economy a lot better, because more people we employ, more taxes that the government pays.
I know you have a lot to say, but finally, my last question, please make the answer very short. When your appointment was announced, there were a lot of talks. He hasn't studied football. Why is he coming to run a football club? After you've taken over, tell me, what have you done? What has been your challenging moment? What exceptional leadership skills have you introduced in Heart of Oak? Your last words.
That one you have to ask my staff and my supporters who said that earlier on. Look, in most jobs in Ghana, somebody will have something to say when somebody is given the job. I don't know how many people actually knew me before I started this role. So anything that they said about me, I took it with a pinch of salt. Look, I'm a phobian. I've always been a phobian, and I'll continue to be a phobian whether I'm here or not. What I want to see, and what I believe every supporter wants to see, is for the club to be more successful. The more success we get, the happier I'll be and the happier everybody will be.
So I guess that's what matters. Frederick Moore, thanks for joining me on Biztrends. Viewers, this is where we wrap up on our conversation about football business right here in Ghana, especially in this trying moment. And you've had it all for yourself. I'm sure we should do a part 2, because there are a lot of things I would want to ask this man. But you know what? I'll leave him alone today. I'll come back for a part 2. Thank you so much for watching Biztrends. My name is Enyonam. I'll be back next weekend. Until then, take care of yourself. If you don't have anything to do, stay home. If you're stepping out, wear your nose mask. It's a bye for now.